If over 100K people showed up to the Area 51 raid with a legitimate goal of breaching the defenses, what do you think would happen? A low-flying helicopter kicks up dust and scares everyone off. Most people will forget to bring enough water and be generally unprepared to walk for miles in the desert. The ones who make it the farthest will easily be arrested due to their low numbers. The U.S. government will test out its new non-lethal weaponry. Edit. In response to the replies saying that they'll use lethal weaponry, they will likely use a combination of the two categories. However, I don't believe the government wants to go Tienanmen Square on us yet and massacre everyone in a crowd at such a high-profile raid. It would look terrible, and it would almost definitely spark something. I also just want to point out one more thing. There's likely nothing of extreme importance at Area 51. The government would be dumb to keep its secrets where everyone in the country believes its secrets are. Final edit. There are a lot of responses saying that because it would be stupid to store secrets in Area 51. It's actually a good idea. I disagree with this because not everyone in the population thinks the same way. It's like the majority that believes that there is something there, while the minority believes that there is nothing there due to the majority thinking there is. It's a lot less risky to just store secrets in a less popular base than to rely on everyone falling for reverse psychology. Fill Area 51 with props and fake evidence of aliens. Have no live guards in the base, only basic fake automated defenses firing blanks. Let people rush it and be in awe when they storm the facility and find all of its stuff. Then have a hologram of Ashton Kutcher displayed in the sky telling them they were punked. They either get detained and arrested or killed if, God forbid, some lunatic brings a gun. They would probably use tear gas or other riot control methods. There will be razor fences too. The enforcement I mean. A giant garage door on base open. Out walks and add it to the killing fields. Of all the things that's not gonna happen this year, this is not gonna happen the most. Half will sleep in because their moms forget to wake them and the other half will chicken out. Nothing good. With 100K people, is practicality a certainty that somebody is stupid enough to bring a gun? It's a bunch of people in the hot, dry desert, with less logistical support than the fire festival, trying to Naruto run across tens of miles. Emergency search and rescue services would spend the first couple days retrieving people in varying degrees of heat exhaustion, dehydration, and extreme sunburn. They would spend the next couple of months retrieving the rest of the corpses. Hospitals would be full all over the state. The survivors would mostly end up arrested, save possibly for those who didn't even make it to the sign. Base security would get a nice workout, though. Well, with the main gate being 15 miles from the actual base. I picture well over 3/4 giving up in the first mile. The rest will fall along the way. No one will come even close to seeing anything classified. This is all without security intervention, by the way. They'll sit and laugh watching the whole thing unfold via CCTV cameras. Then they'll drive out and escort the survivors out into awaiting sheriff's vans to be charged on federal trespass charges. Edit. To anyone suggesting that they would use cars or trucks to traverse the desert. 1. Kill cell signals in the surrounding area to render phone-based GPS systems useless. Then remove or redirect a couple signposts and people won't be able to even find the base. This also limits communication within elements of the protest group as well. If they can't find where they're going and can't talk to each other, most will give up and go home. 2. Set up roadblocks and turn around any vehicles suspected of attempting to breach the perimeter of the base. 3. The desert isn't some smooth, flat surface. Only the most durable off-road vehicles would be able to make that drive, which could be upwards of 50 miles depending on how roadblocks are set up. 4. Vehicles are pretty easily defeated by security forces. Shoot out the tires or put a couple rounds through the engine block and the vehicle is down hard. 5. Plenty of non-lethal options for discouraging people, including sound cannons. millimeter wave emitters, tear gas, rubber bullets, etc., etc., etc. And that's just the stuff we know about. There's probably a few items we haven't seen yet that they're dying to field test. 6. The use of deadly force is still authorized. Edit X2. It's been pointed out that GPS doesn't require a cell signal. However, the GPS satellite system is operated by the Air Force. Probably not too difficult to get GPS services shut down or disrupted in the area. Edit X3. Apparently that's not how GPS works. That said, disrupting their ability to communicate and coordinate would greatly hinder their plans and discourage many from attempting a breach of the perimeter. Edit X4. GPS jammers exist and are readily available from eBay. Sure, the military has something a bit more effective. The thing is, everyone has memed about the raid so much that there is literally no way the government doesn't know it's gonna fail. LMAO. When is this dumb shit supposed to happen? I'll need to plan ahead to buy popcorn. People seem to forget that you can't just show up to Area 51. The security zone starts so far away it is actually completely impossible to reach the actual facility. Part of me kinda hopes something happens, and the base does some obnoxiously insane shit to troll people, like do some crazy helicopter lights, projections, or some crazy noises or whatever for the lol. The aliens that support the US Gov will just zap them all back to their homes and amp. They wake up with memories of a weird dream and a feeling of having been probed. Buddy, the name of the event is They Can't Stop All of Us. Yes, they can. 100,000 teenagers will stroll into the meat grinder. Oni_K gave the correct answer. Let's just say a few thousand idiots manage to show up and think they can pull it off. Best case scenario, they make a run for the fence line. The base responds with an acoustic non-lethal device. Roughly 1/3 road of the group goes down, clutching their ears. Many more go down as they get closer, determined to make the fence but ultimately failing. So maybe low 4-figure number actually make it within a few hundred yards of the fence line, in a significantly degraded state from a single non-lethal device. Cue the riot agents. A volley of tear gas canisters turns the last 5 football fields of distance to the fence line into a densely fogged snotfest. Another 50 to 60% become combat ineffective, between the ringing in their ears, their inability to breathe, and the inability to see through the fog of gas. Most of the group is unwilling or unable to proceed. A small number of intrepid individuals make it within 100 yards of the fence line. The searchlights come on. Between the fog, the tears, and millions of lumens of light in their face, they can't see what the hell is going on. They shout directions at one another. But now they're only a few hundred yards from the acoustic devices, and nobody can hear shit, except for the first salvo of warning shots from a 50 cal HMG mounted to a Humvee nearby. Most of them scatter. A couple of brave souls aren't intimidated by the warning shots. By sheer dumb luck, they get to the fence line and pull out the wire cutters. One shouts, "We did it, Reddit," just before being turned into a fine pink mist by the 50s. On the base side, most of the 20 people required to actually repel this attack go back to the cafeteria laughing about it. The .50 gunner gets sent home, then to critical incident counseling. The other hundreds of guys who are on call up bitch that the morons didn't even break through the fence and trigger a real response, in that they wasted their night for nothing. Worst case scenario, some idiot, or group of idiots in the crowd produces a firearm, and they manage to put effective fire on some of the guards. The guards respond in accordance with the rote issued to them. Defend the facility with reasonable force, up to and including deadly force if required. Simultaneously, several Humvees open up with .50 cal and 7.62 mm machine gun fire, along with whoever produced the firearm. Hundreds of people who thought they were badass a few minutes ago are now casualties, lying on the ground wailing. Most people scatter, but more gunshots are heard from the crowd, each met with a burst of HMG fire in return. resulting in another pile of bodies. The sun rises on a battlefield that looks like a Game of Thrones scene. There are a few dead idiots with guns, and a lot of dead unarmed people who just got too close to the real idiots. Some people live-streamed the whole thing, their phones still broadcasting from their lifeless hands. Military member here. They're going to have the local police and sheriffs there, as well as their own defenses, basically piling up around any and all entries, using less than lethal devices, and ready to use lethal. If this goes down, it's not going to be pretty. They're not just going to let you walk on by. Best case is a large gathering happens in front of the base where they get a bunch of publicity and illuminate some information withheld from the general populace. Everything remains peaceful and nobody gets hurt. If I was the base commander, I'd put up a few big tents in front of the entry, stock them up with food, drinks, resting places, and make it a big happening. Have a few of the tents with info about the military, scientific discoveries with devices that were tested there, just in general some cool stuff, presentations. Maybe roll out some of the old declassified spy planes. Basically an Area 51 con. Everyone who went out there could come back with a cool story and wouldn't really need to do stupid stuff.